This is how you do an episode with a bunch of in-canon filler and still make it a very good episode. Take notes, other anime that are ongoing that need to do filler. This is how you do it. You have some awesome and crazy moments in between, and you also use the opportunity to make things seem more intense, to go into a little bit more of the psyche of these characters, and ultimately to make a damn good episode. I feel like amongst everything that's going on with the dragons, you got some in-canon filler of Natsu once again fighting future Rogue, everything going down. I feel like a lot of this really, if you think about it, kind of ties back to Grey in a certain aspect, because Ultir struggles. Once again, she's connected to Grey in a major way because of her mother. Grey, what happened to him at the end? Of course, obviously, it's Grey. So I think, like, this episode, while there was other things going on, ultimately, a lot of it is kind of, like, focusing around Grey or things that have to do with Grey. And I found that to be very interesting, to say the least. We finally addressed the whole thing with Miliana not being able to forgive Jalal and then Ultir coming over. And I honestly think that Ultir, she needed to realize that she's not all that bad, because while she was contemplating killing Rogue, ultimately, if you look at it, you didn't. And while I was watching the episode, I was just thinking to myself, no, you have changed. Do you think you haven't changed because those thoughts came to your mind? And ultimately, bad habits die hard, and this is one of those cases. Yeah, okay, you didn't completely change, you know, these dark thoughts came to your mind, but you didn't do it. And that was one of the things I was like screaming at the screen, Ultir, no! Because Ultir, I don't know, I find her to be very interesting, and seeing her kind of trying to come to grips with the fact of who she is right now, and if she even changed, because, you know, she's been wanting to change from who she used to be. She did a lot of fucked up things. This episode really going into her, kind of seeing her struggle with herself. Very interesting stuff, and ultimately seeing where the character was to where she's at now. And I think it's just a matter of her realizing, yeah, you were thinking about doing something fucked up, but even if you did that fucked up thing, or you were thinking about doing that fucked up thing, ultimately why she was doing it was to save the world. So it wasn't that she was just wanting to kill an innocent man because he got some money that she wants or a spell that she needs to find out. Ultimately, it was to save the world. So in the greater good of everything, she was really trying to save people. It wasn't a bad thing, and I think she just needed to realize that. Even the filler fights that they did, where you have Romeo, Macau, all these people really struggling, getting fucked up, it really adds to the background and the devastation of what the dragons did, because in the manga, it just felt like, okay, the dragons are here, you know, they fucking shit up, but it's really showing everyone is really struggling. Macau's getting fucked up. All of these people, even the fodder people, are getting destroyed, and it's actually giving more credibility to the threat of the dragons. I like getting that little Flair saving Lucy moment. Flair, fucking crazy bitch, and then Lucy running. Like, honestly, the in-canon filler that they did with this episode just really broadened the atmosphere of what's going on and really gave you a closer look at everyone's struggle with the dragons, ultimately adding to the threat and the credibility of these dragons, which I like, because I wanted to see them look a lot more ferocious. In the manga, it was like, there was so much comedy around it that it was really hard to focus on, thinking, you know, oh, these dragons are crazy, you know, they're fucking everything up. But with episodes like this, where you're giving everybody's perspective and what everyone's thinking and how everyone's going about trying to struggle against these motherfuckers, it really, you know, broadens everything and really shows you, yeah, they're nothing to be fucked with. This is a really serious threat. They even gave filler scenes once again to something I said I wanted to see, and that's Loxus going in against his dragon. You got Cobra going in against a dragon. They did everything that I felt they needed to do to make it look better than the manga. They went above and beyond, and that's using in-canon filler. That's how you fucking do it. Take notes. This is, like, honestly, I never really like to praise filler, because ultimately I feel like filler a lot of times, you know, fuck shit up. But when you're using it to improve on the manga material, I can only praise. And then that ending, though, I ain't gonna lie, I wish the director would have been a little bit more dramatic about it. It was still pretty dramatic, but ultimately great. It was like, yo, I know, and obviously I'm not gonna spoil anything from the manga, but I know what happens, and the way they did this in the anime is just absolutely insane. He got fucking done dirty. I mean, blast here, there, then to the fucking head. It was like Hiro Mashima was having a bad fucking day when he decided to fuck Grey's life over. And it was really neat, too, how it wasn't just Grey's death, like, oh, out of nowhere, everyone's fighting, and then you just see Grey getting fucked up. It kind of chained in with the whole Jubia thing, because romance and fairy tale does have a heavy part. It's not just some random thing thrown in there every once in a blue moon. It actually connects, and Grey's relationship with Jubia, it was like, you know, she was just kind of laughing, and then it was like, shit gets real serious, and it was reminding them, this isn't a fucking game. This is war. These are dragons. These are murdering, killing beasts. And what happened to Grey? Crazy shit. Crazy way to end the episode. Overall, for an episode mixed with a bunch of in-canon filler, I gotta give it praise. I feel like this episode was an 8.5 out of 10. Ultimately, it was surrounded by filler, so in a sense, yeah, it's dragging things out, but it's doing it in a good way, in a proper way, and crazy way to end the episode on a cliffhanger and a half, and ultimately it's like good shit. I don't want to start no drama, but I'm just saying, Toei Animation, take notes, because A1 is doing it right. But let me know what you guys think, anime-only viewers. How do you feel about that ending? What happened to Gray? Overall thoughts of this episode, and people in general, what did you think about this material? Was it crazy? Was it hype? I'm honestly impressed that they used the filler in a proper way. Like, I can't stress it enough. And just your overall thoughts of the episode, but that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm Finette World, and as always, people, have an awesome day. This is how you do an episode with a bunch of in-canon filler and still make it a very good episode. Take notes, other anime that are ongoing that need to do filler. This is how you do it. You have some awesome and crazy moments in between, and you also use the opportunity to make things seem more intense, to go into a little bit more of the psyche of these characters, and ultimately to make a damn good episode. I feel like amongst everything that's going on with the dragons, you got some in-canon filler of Natsu once again fighting future Rogue, everything going down. I feel like a lot of this really, if you think about it, kind of ties back to Gray in a certain aspect, because Ultir struggles. Once again, she's connected to Gray in a major way because of her mother. Gray, what happened to him at the end? Of course, obviously, it's Gray. So I think, like, this episode, while there was other things going on, ultimately, a lot of it is kind of like focusing around Gray or things that have to